Hey, welcome everybody to my live stream today. Thank y'all for joining me. I really appreciate it. Today's subject is going to be Philippines to Thailand or Philippines, the best round trip ticket I've ever purchased. But before we get started, now remember, all my live streams, these are your live streams. Whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about, obviously. I want to give a shout out to the NTZ crew. I see Jacob Tanje on here. I see Michael Beach of Life on here, man. I really appreciate y'all, man, what y'all do. I may add another moderator or two, but I can't add them when I'm on StreamYard. What I want to do is give the exchange rate, man. It's 54.9 right now. Now, Darren Cooper told me that it went up to 55.03 the other day. But 54.90, that's the highest I've ever seen in my 13 years and over here, man. Really, 13 years, yeah, and what, 2 months? It's a great time to be here, especially if you're here now and you're not exchanging dollars to pesos, man. Shame on you. Darren told me that, okay, from the time he received his last pension to this time, and I think it's every 2 weeks, he got an extra 3,000 pesos. See, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. They're giving away free money over here. That's free money, any way you look at it. You know, it's 3,000 pesos that he wasn't counting on. They just gave it to him. So, yeah. I see Leroy Day on here. He says, Hell, Big Cow, which country has the most nurses in their respective countries? I am asking because I love nurses that are so health-wise and nurturing. Well, I'm going to tell you that Thailand actually has one of the best healthcare infrastructures. They literally have the world's best hospital. Starts with a B. I forgot the name of it, but you know, of course, the Philippines supplies 25% of the world's nurses. Either way it goes, you're going to have plenty to choose from. I mean, if you need personal care, especially as we get older, you're going to get A1 in both places. And I'm glad you brought that up because let me say this right now, guys. It's time that we stop comparing the Philippines and Thailand. They're so close together that you can enjoy both of them. And remember, they're two different places. That's why I made the live stream today. It's the first time I've ever left paradise, and I wasn't sad. I didn't want to cry. You know why? Because I was leaving one paradise, going to the other. Imagine having a Philippines to Thailand, back to Philippines round trip ticket. It don't get better than that. I don't care how you look at it, especially for a man. I mean, that's unbelievable, man. And it came across my mind. That's why I wanted to talk about this today. But let's stop comparing it. They're two different places. You can enjoy both. The flight is 2 hours and 45 minutes, if that. If I were a single man, because see, I'm happy. I'm practically married over here, believe it or not. I would go back and forth. I didn't know it was so close. I loved it in the Philippines so much, and I still do. I never even looked at Thailand. I never knew it was so close to the Philippines. Man, it's ridiculously close. And I'm going to give my final analysis on my trip. I'm going to upload the video later. But one thing I'm going to talk about on there, I just didn't stay long enough. Man, you can't go to Thailand. But it was considered 5 days, but really I only had 3.5 full days. Well, you might as well say 4. Monday through Thursday, because we got there Sunday around 12 midnight, and we left Friday around 8:30 a.m. So I had 4 days, man. It's not enough, guys. Don't torture yourself like that. Don't do that. The next time I go to Thailand, it's going to be for 30 days. I'm going to take Maryland with me because that's the best of both worlds. You take your Filipino to Thailand, you can't get any better than that. Luke Phillips says, I may have missed it. How much is the ticket from the Philippines to Thailand? Well, right now, round trip is, I've paid $272, which is, with the dollar as strong as it is over here now, that's a deal, but it used to be lower than that. I was talking to my buddy Jeffrey Tatter. He came over here in 2019, pre-pandemic. He was flying from Okinawa to Thailand and back. He said it was about $200. So I would say that's about what is under normal circumstance. But 272 is not bad, man. I mean, on Thai Airways, now I was disappointed in their food, but so what? We had eaten so much that by the time I got on the plane to come home, I wasn't even hungry really. I took a few bites of they had like when they served those omelets on the plane, it's basically just a rolled up egg, rolled up scrambled egg. I wasn't even hungry. And they had some kind of chicken sausage. By the time we reached cruising altitude, they rolled out the breakfast, they got finished with that. Hell, he was saying cabin crew prepare for landing, man. It was unbelievably short. But yeah, we got to quit comparing Thailand and the Philippines, man. Right today, stop it. If you want to compare something, compare the women then. Because I've talked to two guys who've made the switch. One from Philippines to Thailand. That's Chocolate Man in Thailand. And I tell you what, I don't know why he doesn't have more subscribers. Man, this guy's legitimate, man. He's locked in down there in Pattaya. He's living a good life. He went from the Philippines to Thailand, and then Darren Cooper went from Thailand to the Philippines. And I said, well, without comparing, he said, both of them said the Philippines is just special, man, and she is. For a man coming from the West, you're not going to get it any better, especially if you take your time and you find the right Filipino. They may not, the men over here may not realize what they've got, but I surely do. JV says the infrastructure, food, cleanliness, and security in Thailand is second to none, but the language is a big problem. Yeah, you're right. If you're going to compare Thailand, compare it to Singapore, compare it to America, because they have first world problems in Thailand. If you go to Bangkok, man, you're surely going to be impressed. I didn't know what to expect. Eric Terry, who went over there, he said, I thought I was going to see another Manila. But no, you can't compare that. But I'm going to tell you, JB, how to get over this language barrier. Chocolate Man in Thailand, he said, move to a place where there's a lot of foreigners, and then most of the people will speak English. And he was right about that. But I'm going to tell you another way. Use those foreigners. There's so many foreigners in Thailand, man. You don't even need to speak to the locals. You can just speak to the expats. When I was doing my video on the beach, and I said, yeah, I'm going to take a break and get some coffee. Well, right before that, I met a foreigner. He had a British accent. He could have been Australian. It's hard for me to tell those two accents. I stopped him on the beach. I said, hey, where can I get a cup of coffee? He took his earphones off. He, gave me directions. We chit-chat for 5 minutes, and he hit me. I was like, well, hell, I don't have to know the language over here. I mean, every 5 feet is a foreigner over there. Imagine, guys, this is a country of 69 million. They had 49 million tourists in 2019 pre-pandemic. See? So yeah, but yeah, the infrastructure, we got on the train at BTS, man. Like I said, you might as well have been in Washington, D.C. on the subway or somewhere like that. But yeah, it's time that we stop comparing these two guys. You can enjoy both, believe it or not. Remember, Thailand is like a kingdom. Mr. Lee, who on this video, right before I get at the front, I made like a 2-minute introduction to him, guys. Listen, he's the real deal. This guy's funny. He's cheap. He knows everything about Thailand. He can take you everywhere. But anyway, he took us in the center of Thailand where the palace is. Man, you see these gold domes and it's all kinds of just ridiculous buildings and castles and statues down in the middle of Thailand, man. You wouldn't believe it. W Secrets to Success blog said, hey, Cal, what do you think the key factors are on why the dollar is increasing versus peso now? Maybe because of the elections, they had a new administration in, and this is just what I'm thinking. And remember, the world, I told you a long time ago, when the dollar was going way down over here, it's because no one needed the dollar. The world was closed. Now it's opened back up. In Thailand, it's basically opened all the way. July 1st, you won't even need a mask. Now, if you're outside, the mask is it's at your discretion. But I think because the world is opening back up, import and export is getting back to normal. The dollar's strong, man. It's almost 55 here, man. It's crazy. Duran said it reached 55. But yeah, I'm just so happy to be back, man, because I lost a lot of sleep worrying about this trip, man. You know, because it's all in your head, though, because that flight over there was nothing. It was as smooth as I could have possibly expected. I mean, it really was. I have to say that. And then I was so excited because Thailand will grab a hold of you. It's not like Guam. You know, I love Guam, but it didn't excite me. That's why I changed my mind. And plus, the flight is like an hour and something less. And Thailand is everything they say it is, man. You know, if you never been to Thailand, go to Thailand, because people used to always say, well, why didn't you talk about Thailand before? I never been. How can I talk about somewhere that I've never been? I've been there before. You know, human nature is going to make you compare, but you don't need to compare it, man. Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. This guy, Derek Casanova, I'm glad you on here, Derek. He's got a Facebook group. What's the name of it, Derek? Type it up and let me put it up. Somebody called it Thailand. You know, but they got beautiful women over there, man. But I gotta put the Filipino at the top, man. For a man coming from the West, the Filipinos number one, in my opinion. I've talked to two guys who made the switch, because eventually I'm gonna do a video on that. Make the switch, and I'm gonna talk to guys who either moved from Thailand to the Philippines or Philippines to Thailand. But you can enjoy them both. And I tell you what, Thailand is all that, man. Expats visiting Thailand said, hey, why the videos of Thailand is different than when we see it in person? I don't think you can really catch the true Thailand on film. I tried, but you can't do it, man. It's just that ambience. Let me tell you something about Pattaya. It's more than Soy 6. It's more than Walking Street. Listen, even though I've settled down, I'm basically a family man, I could move my family to Pattaya. That view, me and Chocolate Man in Thailand, we sat at this place called the Red Steps. Because he reached out to me, he said, hey, man, you're down here, let's, chop it up a little bit. We went to this little restaurant, man, right across from Pattaya Beach. And I would pay just for that ocean view, that beach view, man. It's off the chain, man. I mean, and then you got the beach on one side of the street that stretches all the way. Then on the other side, you got nothing but bars, hotels, stores, restaurants, the whole 9 yards. And it's just the people. You see the Mercedes, you see the BMWs, you see it all, man. It's like being on, I don't know what I would even compare it to in America, but any boulevard anywhere in the world, I would pay just for that. It's all that, man. But that's the problem. You can't catch it on camera. we try to do it the best we can. Hey, Kiss, keep it simple. Survivor says, welcome back home, Mr. Calvin. I've never been so happy, man. I got another 3 years now. Y'all gonna have to put up with me for another 3 years, you know. Uh, and I'm just so grateful, man. I was telling Marilyn, it's almost like a dream because I'm be in my head, man, about these planes and stuff, but I couldn't sleep about 3 days out. But it's all in your head, man. That plane ride was as smooth as I've ever had. When you take off, it was smooth, we landed. I actually enjoyed the flight. And then, like I said, I'm going to Thailand, so I'm excited. Then I'm coming back to the Philippines. I'm excited. It was the best round trip ticket I've ever bought. The Beach of Life said Jay calls it Thailand. Yeah, that's what it's called. And the thing is, even Marilyn was talking about, she's never been to Thailand, but she was talking about all the women over there. And I said, you can't even imagine. I don't know what's going on over there. It's a kingdom, and they're Buddhists over there. Even Mr. Lee was a Buddhist, but it's like a sexual haven over there, man. It's just so many women. They're from all over the world too. They're not just Thai. When we first got to Bangkok, we got there late, and we walked to the Burger King just to get something to eat, man. And the first woman of the street I saw was an African woman. I actually seen like three. I mean, these sisters was off the chain, but I was like, man, I didn't come all the way over here for an African. I mean, I want, an Asian. That's my thing. But uh, I would take the Filipino #1. But yeah, you go over there. It's just crazy. It's like nothing you ever seen. I was telling Marilyn, I said, you can't even imagine. Whatever you heard about that, it's that on steroids. Yeah, Moochie T says that's the beach of life. He says, I like that. Thai. Yeah, yeah. That's what they call it, Thailand. Mr. Washington 3 says, I'm splitting a month between the two next year. Can't wait. I would say do that, guys. It's so close, look, man, that if you come to Thailand and you don't come to the Philippines, you're going to cheat yourself. If you come to the Philippines and don't come to Thailand, you're cheating yourself. It's too close, man. If I'd have known that, I would have been and went over there. Imagine, I've been coming to the Philippines since 2009. I love it so much over here, though, that I never even looked anywhere else. Okay? Because this place will grab a hold of you. It just depends on what you're looking for. Because, as a matter of fact, Philippines has everything you're looking for, really. People say, oh, your Thailand does too, but Philippines does too, man. Don't sleep on this place. Don't make your mind fool you into thinking. Because when you get to Thailand, you're going to see it all. And then the food is just next level. It's on something, man, that's the best pancakes I ever had. I ate on Thursday morning at this little restaurant down the street from my hotel, right on the beach strip. It was the best pancakes I've ever had. But they were these little bitty quarter-sized pancakes, right? She gave me 4. They had the banana strips, they had the whipped cream, and then they had, the maple syrup, then they had the strawberry syrup. Man, I told him things up, and then I said, hey, can I get another order of this to go? She said, yours was the last order, because it was after my live stream, so it was about 12. They were finished with breakfast. Now, Derek says you better go to the Philippines first. No, I'm saying you better go to Thailand first, because either way, you're going to go from paradise to paradise. Thailand is just like being, what do you need? Oh, okay. Hold on, guys. I got to get something. You know what it is, right? Be careful. Shoot. What did I do with it? Okay. Here. sorry, man. I'm back. Either way it goes, you can't lose on that one. I'm not even going to get into that argument. But, you know, if you're a guy if you're sophisticated, then you're going to like Thailand. If you lay back like me, if you're simple like me, you're going to like the Philippines. I'm just going to put it like that. I like both because I can adapt to wherever I am. But if you like, see, Eric Terry, he's a doctor, Eric Terry. He's an educator. He's sophisticated. And that's what he said. He said, man, I think I'm going to like it. He said, I think Thailand is a better fit for me, even though I like the Philippines because he's got a Filipino, man. And once you get that Filipino tune up, man, I don't care how nice Thailand is. You know, as far as first day experience, I'm going to have to go to the Philippines simply because you're going to have that woman waiting for you here. Over there, it's going to be different. Now, if you're one of those guys, you know, you like that kind of nightlife scene, you like to go places where they'll give you a damn soapy bath and all that, then Thailand's going to be for you. But if you're just a regular Joe going over there, man, you know, you're going to have like a difficult time. I mean, with the women, it's going to take you longer. Okay, honey. It's going to take you longer to find a woman there than here in the Philippines, simply because of that language thing. But don't sleep on Thailand. It's, you know, they're up here the same to me. Terry Harris said, how much was the flight? It was 272 round trip, which, you know, this is pandemic. I still didn't find that bad. Polar Bear says, you were singing and praising differently, sir. Think your tongue tied being home. No, man, Thailand is on a whole other level. You can't compare comparing the Philippines to Thailand, dude, would be an injustice. If you're going to compare Thailand anywhere, you'd have to compare it to somewhere like Singapore, anywhere in the United States, because Bangkok is an international city. It's like Chicago. Have you ever been to the Magnificent Mile? You see all them foreigners everywhere, different people like that. That's what you're going to see in Bangkok, and it's so modern. But no, I loved it over there. It's just that, you know, I can only be in one place. I can't be two places at one time. I'm slapping myself, though, because I never visited Thailand. I never considered it. And I cheated myself. There's no way, if you're in the Philippines, you're 2 hours and 45 minutes away from Thailand, that you couldn't go back and forth. You know, Chocolate Man, he just said he's been here for 3.5 years. He's a young guy, though. See, younger guys are going to like Thailand better. Because I've got a guy, I call him my nephew, his name is Robert Sanford. He went there and acted a complete nut in Thailand, believe it or not, guys. And he's got the money. He spent $46,000 in 7 weeks over there. And I seen how he did it because he's one of those guys. He'll go on Soy 6 and stay all damn day. And that's what he did. To be honest with you, but he's younger. He's in his 30s. Well, you know, T.J. Johnson, he's in his 30s, and you know, he goes back and forth, but he tried to tell me about Thailand a long time ago. Will Rose says, I used to say it from the beginning. I had many Thai bar channels. I don't know what he's talking about. Let's see. He said, Kate Dallas said you get that Thailand overhaul. It's just, you know, a different scene for me. I saw a lot of, believe it or not, I was being recognized more in Thailand than I've ever been in the Philippines. Imagine, I'm in Bangkok and people know who I am, man. I was shocked, man. It was really humbling. I'm sitting in there on Soy 6 with Mr. Lee. We just sitting, I'm drinking a Coke. He's drinking what did he have? He had a Miller Lite or something he had over there. And some guy just kept looking at me. He came up to me and said, like, you Mr. Boots on the ground, shot. He was from Kuwait. Then when we're leaving, here's another guy stops me. He says, I thought that was you. He said, you're Sunshine Shoulders from the YouTube, aren't you? I said, yeah, he was the guy. I think his name was Kiki. He was from England. He had been in Thailand for 6 months. And see, that's the thing about the only drawback I would see if I wanted to live in Thailand. It's that visa situation and working around it. Because you basically get 60 days there. Then you got to make a decision. What are you going to do? Are you going to try to extend that, go to school, get a student visa? Because Alex living abroad, his channel, by the way, has just exploded since he came. He made the switch from Thailand to the Philippines. He came here and his YouTube channel took off. He came here, he had 4,000 subscribers. I'm not taking credit, I'm just saying, I did an interview on his channel and he just got a different niche. I mean, he's got probably 11 or 12,000 subscribers now. But he said that you can, no, he didn't say it. Darren Cooper said, he said, Calvin, all you got to do is enroll in school taking Thai language courses. And they'll give you a year to do that. But over here, man, Philippines, the minute you walk in the country, you get 3 years. See, you don't have to worry about running back and forth to the immigration. And that's kind of how you can tell. I felt welcome in Thailand, but I just felt like a tourist there. Here, I guess because the Philippines doesn't get many tourists at all. They don't treat you like a tourist. Moochie T said, Polar Bear, I think so too. Calvin looked like he was not going to go back except for his kids and partner. Yeah, you're going to be starry-eyed. You're going to be like a deer in headlights over there. For a guy like me, I'm just a little country boy from Louisville, Kentucky. I was not ready for what was waiting for me in Thailand, to be honest with you. But because I've got a family and a life over here, I never seriously considered staying because your money goes just as far in Thailand as it does here, believe it or not, because of the value. You can go, let me see, I'm going to post a picture of the last Thai meal I ate over there. We had 5 courses, okay? We had 5 courses. We got extra rice, extra drinks. It was 635 baht. The food was the best food probably I've ever ate in my life. See, that's what I'm saying. That's not even $20, guys. The hotel I was staying in, literally steps from the Pattaya beach, $19 a night. Your money's going to go just as far over there as it does over here, but the value's a little bit better, okay, in Thailand. You're going to get a better value for your money, man, and but Moochie T, you're right, man, I was not ready. Expats visiting Thai said, Calvin, Philippines girls more thicker in curves than the girls, but some Thai girls are thick. So some Filipinos are mixed with black, Pacific Islander, Latin, Asian. Yeah, see, this is what confuses a lot of guys when they come over here. They think in Asia, they thinking like this. No. My wife is 36, 26, 36 when I met her. You see some women over here that you're never going to see anywhere else. And it shocks you. It's booty over here, guys. It's TNA over here. Mike's Waves 2 says a lot to see and do that doesn't have to do with the bar scene in Thailand like in Philippines. Absolutely. You're exactly right. And that's why I was telling Marilyn. See, she's getting all nervous thinking I'm going to go over there and meet somebody and do this and do that. I said, don't you realize Thailand is a family-friendly place. That's why 49 million people come there. They bring their families there. It's so much to do there. Okay, Mr. Lee, we had a schedule to go to see the Tigers, to see the alligators. You know, it's all kinds of stuff to do over there. The sex scene is just a small part of it, but it's so big that when you come from somewhere like the Philippines to Thailand or Louisville, Kentucky to Thailand, and you see all those women, man. I've been to I've been to Tijuana in 2002, and it was women as far as I could see on both sides of the street, you know, but they were standing shoulder to shoulder. Over here, man, it's like bar, full of women. The streets full of women. They pulling at you. They're standing in your way. You literally have to push them out of the way. Like, look, I'm on my way somewhere. Get out of here. And it's just on a whole other level of anything you're going to see. Big Dog said, glad you're back home. Yeah, man. I'm happy to be back. But Pattaya would be where I would live, though, believe it or not, if I were going to move to Thailand. And not because of the sex scene, because of that beachfront, man. It's beautiful. And let me tell you something. See, the condominiums over here are just unbelievably expensive, and I don't know why. Over in Thailand, you can get a brand new condominium. I'm talking about like 130 square meters for something like 1.5 million baht. That's unbelievable, man. Over here, you know how much something like that would cost you? Probably about 10 million pesos. Probably about 4 times as much. And I don't understand it. Oh, yeah. She breathed a sigh of relief because, remember, Filipinos, they don't go anywhere. They only go by what they hear. And some of her friends just had her so nervous. Oh, you know, those women over there, he's not coming back, and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. No. Yusuf Omar Habib said, maybe instead of meeting a Filipino in the Philippines, I should meet a Filipino in Thailand. Maryland says plenty of them over there. And, you know, I'd asked the guy, Paul Simpkins, one of my subscribers. He goes all around the world, and I said, there's a lot of Filipinos in Thailand. He said, no, shit. Man, that's wrong. That plane was full of Filipinas and Filipinos, mostly Filipinas. Now, I don't know if they were going there to work, but there's plenty of them over there. Xavier Baker said, what's good, Unc? I think at the end of the day, both countries have a lot to offer, different perspectives of each. But the Philippines is top-notch, hands down. The people alone is more approachable. I have to agree with you. They roll out the red carpet for you here. Ever since I've been back to Manila, everywhere I go, good afternoon, sir. Good morning, sir. You don't get that in Thailand. But the people are friendly there, but you don't get the warm and welcoming attitude in Thailand as I did, as you do in the Philippines. Because they don't see as many foreigners, man. It's just as many foreigners in Thailand as Thailanders. I hope as Thai people. It's a lot over there, man. But yeah, a lot of Filipinos work in Thailand, yeah. Darren Cooper, and I keep saying Darren Cooper because I'm going to interview him. I hope he's watching. He was married to a Thai woman for 4 years. He lived in Thailand. He's got a retirement visa in the Philippines and Thailand. He took his girlfriend to Thailand. She didn't want to come back. She's like, yeah, it's okay that we retire over here in Thailand because it's something totally different from a Filipino growing up and living in the Philippines, going over to Thailand. It's like going to America. It was for me. Philip Jones said traveling is much easier in Thailand. Absolutely. It's like being in America, except they're just driving on the opposite side of the street. That's all. That's all. They're just driving like on the opposite side of the street. But Bangkok, it's on a level with the best cities in the world. So you can't say that. See, that's why I say, why would you want to compare the Philippines? The Philippines is an island. This is a tropical paradise. In Bangkok, as nice as it is and as modern as it is, you're landlocked. At this stage in my life, I don't want to be landlocked. I want to be somewhere close to the water. Because we as human beings, we have an affinity to water. Remember, you're about 75% water. Now, you may not realize it, but when you go to the ocean, that's why we get excited when we go to the ocean, to the beach, because we have an affinity to the water. Okay. Taking a dump stank says, the Philippines have good nightclubs and it's illegal to deal with sex workers. Well, it's not legal, but they got places here that, in Manila, Cebu, places like that, there's a good nightlife and all that. But like I said, when you talk about nightlife, see, that's when you can't even compare the two. It's really like an international nightlife over there. It never closes over there. Derek Casanova says, I used to live in Bangkok, and I agree if I return, I would be next to the beach. Yeah, that's why I said, my final analysis is this. Had I known Pattaya was going to be as nice as it was, I would have spent all my 4 days in Pattaya. I would have flown into Bangkok and took Mr. Lee, have Mr. Lee take me to Pattaya. I spent all my time there, came back and flew out. Yusuf says, I hate the beach. Yeah, I want to go to the Philippines. Well, why would you hate the beach, brother? Hey, Ron Scudder, thank you. He said, don't forget to hit the likes. Welcome back, Calvin. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, guys, hit the like button. Y'all know that I like that. Hey, Vince Lawson, he said, what's up, Unc? Remember I said you would have to walk in the middle of the street. Yeah, so you've been here before. When you come back, man, maybe you should go. If I were you, he's 33, I think, or 35 or something. He came to the Philippines. Man, you need to go back to Thailand, man. Thailand is wide open, by the way. When I landed in Thailand, this is a fact. I didn't stop. I kept going. They said, where's your Thai pass? I showed, they scanned that. I went on through the immigration. I handed them my passport and my boarding pass, man. Boom. I was out of there, man. I promise you. It didn't take me 5 minutes, and hell, 4 minutes was walking. Oh, no, Mr. Vegas. He says that my band are blocked on his channel. Someone tell me if my comments can be seen. Yeah, you can be seen. Yeah, I did, Jay. I visited both. But it's really not my cup of tea, really. You understand? But it's a spectacle. It's something that I wanted to see. I had to see it for myself because you hear so much about it. Even Walking Street, I just walked up and down Walking Street. And people was like, oh, the new law over there. Guys, it's mostly for corporations and stuff. And I'm not the type of guy, I don't point a camera straight at somebody. With that gimbal I got, I can be walking straight. They won't even know I'm looking at them. But I don't even do that in the Philippines. I don't even do that. Duck the Traveler says, are you back in the Philippines? Yeah. I landed Friday morning. Fred Baldwin, what's up, OG? He said, Guam definitely has plenty of water since we're a small island surrounded by the ocean. Let me ask you, what's the nightlife there, Fred? Is there women there too? Women of the night there? Are they really strict? Massage, car. Well, let me stop right there when you said that. It's crazy about the massages there. You have to go in and tell them, look, I only want a massage. You don't have to do that here. You got to do that over there because they take for granted that you want the happy ending there. And see, I didn't know it. I went in there, man, and lady said, yeah, take off all your clothes. And she's looking at me all seductive and stuff. And I was like, no, look, I just want a massage. Mr. Lee told me that. But let me finish saying what I'm saying. I got a better massage here than I did in Thailand. And like I remember, I'm not really comparing them, but just my little knowledge, man, I was only over there really for 4 days, guys. I'm just letting you know that if you are in the Philippines, or if you're in America, man, and you plan on coming to the Philippines, you gotta go to Thailand. If I were you, I'd stay 30 days in the Philippines and 30 days in Thailand. If I got 30 days, I'm spending 15 in the Philippines and 15 in Thailand. It doesn't matter which one you go to first, in my humble opinion, but you gotta see them both. Yeah, T. Holmes said a Soapy. Yeah. Some guy told me, he said, Cal, Philip Cooper, he said, you gotta have that done. I said, man, let me tell you something. If they do that to me, I'm done. I'm going up in something, okay? And I didn't want to get tempted like that because I can stay, with my $1,500 to $2,000 a month, I can live good in Thailand. And I didn't want to get my mind clouded. I didn't want to have to make a decision like that. So I didn't go that far, but I tell you what, if a woman's rubbing soap and stuff on me like that, some of the women over there, because soy six is like Mr. Lee said, uh, they're on they're like the bottom level because a lot of the women there have problems. He's talking about drug problems. But when we went to these other places, Walking Street is a little bit higher, but then you can go in these other places like Honey One or Honey Two and some more of these other places. Man, the women, man, I'm telling you, the bar fan is 5,000. But these women are like Miss Universe type caliber. See, on Soy Six, hell, the bar fan is only, what, 300 or something like that, I think? Yeah. But there's some places, and it just depends on what kind of money you got and what type of, action you looking for. They got a bar fan that's 5,000. But these women, man, are, Beyonce level. Tony P said Manila is probably the only city in Southeast Asia that is next to the sea. That's probably the reason the U.S. chose to locate its embassy right on the edge of the water. Remember, Filipinos love America. Yeah. See, that's why the Philippines is special to me. They understand us. We got a relationship with Filipinos that go way back. It's a good and bad relationship. Good thing was the later on it went, the better it got, especially when we were able to force the Japanese out. And they're just so friendly, man. I've never been treated as well anywhere as I've been in the Philippines. And you get these women over here, man, it's retarded, man. Red Hot Mike said, I admire your strength in Thailand, Calvin. I'm weak. I've been married 3 times. I'm weak. Yeah. If you're weak, see, I'm going to tell you something. I told this with Merlin. I was honest as I could be. I said, if I was comfortable in that situation, I wouldn't have come back. I'd have stayed over there. But I'm not comfortable in that type of situation. There's men who can go over there, drop their pants, and screw these women. I can't really do that. I can't be on the clock. It just, believe it or not, guys, I told you I'm squared up, man. I stay squared up. I haven't done that kind of thing, and I'm telling you, since the Navy. It's hard for me. I've got to be able to have some type of connection with the woman before I could really perform. So that helps me. I don't know if that's my anxiety helping me, but I tell you what, if I was one of those type of guys, Mike, that could do that, I wouldn't have came back, man. I would extend it. I would have stayed there the whole month because it's just too easy. You just walk down Soy 6, okay, you give a woman, because there's some fine-ass women on there, okay? You pay the 300 baht, man, what is that? It's not even $10 over there. Then 1,000 baht. You go upstairs, you bang the hell out of her, you come back down. You could probably do that, man. Hell, that's only what you done spent. $40? That's nothing. Yeah, he said, Calvin, good thing you behaved yourself. Remember, you warned us Filipinos have no issue chopping your stuff. Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you why it was easy for me, man. Because over here, man, I got it good. I mean, Maryland's about as good as you can get. No, she's not the most beautiful woman, but man, she's sexy. She's got a perfect body that I like, and I've got a connection with her, man. I mean, the sex is good, man. He says, "How's the nightlife in Hong Kong?" I've never been to. I've only flown into Hong Kong. Hey, what's up, Franz? Um, I see Franz. Yeah, Edgar Castillo says you can always take the blue pill. He said, "Agreed, Cal." Yeah, I'm not like that, man. I wish I was at times because, especially in Thailand, because Mr. Lee took me everywhere. He showed me. I mean, it whets your appetite, but when it comes down to it, man, I can't be on the clock. It's just something that I'm not comfortable with. Oh, okay. Will Rose says I caught COVID there. I had to stay an extra month and a half. Uncensored said I'm buying a one-way ticket, never coming back. Man, if you're in your 30s, even 20s, even 40s, man, you go to some place like Thailand or the Philippines, I go back and forth, man. You would never even think about going back to America. I mean, it's nothing over in America that even um, compares to what's going on over here. Guys, let me hit Franz. I forgot you, Franz. He said you back home in Manila, back home. Now I'm in Manila now, man. We can hook up if you want to. I'm supposed to be hooking up with a brother today, Mark Rowland, later on. I'm gonna tell you guys, man. I want to apologize to anybody that wanted to have a cup of coffee or something. When I flew in here, man, I was stressed out because I be in my head about that flight, getting back through immigration and all that. I didn't sleep. I was up at about 3:30 Friday morning. I didn't go to bed till like 9 or 10. I got that tune up. Merlin gave me that tune up. I went right to sleep. So I'm just now catching up on my rest. But I'm ready now. Nicholas, is that Goldie? Says I'm 34, single, and living in Bangkok. I'm never going back home to the U.S. I don't blame you. And see, uh, one thing the Chocolate Man was saying was one thing he liked about the Philippines. See, he's got that VA loan. The VA benefits. He said they're easier to use over here um, in the Philippines than it is in Thailand. He said there's so many more options. He was going to school over here. This brother's sharp, man. If you're not following his channel, if you even think about going to Thailand, man, you need to follow his channel because he's got real live information. I could have talked to him all day, but Mr. Lee was with me, and he doesn't speak good English, and I didn't want to keep him out of the loop. It's just not being considerate. Art Secrets to Success Blog said, "What did Mr. Lee charge for his tour guide services?" Well, him and Jeffrey Taylor, they're like this. They got a connection. So I think everything he did everything for me for those 5 days. I'm thinking Jeffrey gave him $200 or something. But I don't know. You got to talk to him. I'm going to do a video and put his information there. But this guy's off the chart. He's nothing like, okay, I love John here in the Philippines. John is off the chart too. He's fun. He's not the typical Filipino. He can relate to you, man. You'll like John over here. But Mr. Lee, he's just so funny, man. His personality and his knowledge of Thailand is unparalleled. And he was, even though he's married, plus see, he's got a fortuner. It's his. So he'll stay with you 24 hours if you want to. I mean, nothing is off the table with him. When we were going to Walking Street, I forgot my gimbal. I said, man, I need to go back to get that. He said, okay, no problem. Took me all the way back to the hotel, got it. Never complains. But $200, of course, we gave him. By the time we left, trust me, he was happy as hell. But he's worth it. He's worth every penny, man, especially for somebody. Because Thailand is not like the Philippines, okay? Um, the Philippines is, it's easier to get around Thailand because of the infrastructure, but I mean, it's easier to get around the Philippines because all the signs are in English, the people speak English, so you wouldn't really need a tour guide here as you would in Thailand because there's so much to see in Thailand. Man, I didn't even scrape the uh, tip of the iceberg over there for 4 days, man. Ron's World said Bangkok and Pattaya are fast lane locations. He said outside of those areas such as what is he saying, the inland? Is that what you're saying? The Iceland? Are slower pace and more suited for those not into the noise and massive bar scene, different sides of Thailand. I was told that. And see, in 4 days, it's just uh, hard for you to really, you're going to be more like a deer in headlights over in Thailand. It's a spectacle, man. It's nothing like anything I ever seen before. And I've been basically around the world. The only place I could even put it up with that, as far as getting me excited, is the Philippines and Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Anywhere else, it's not, well, Cartagena, Colombia. Anything else, man, it won't grab a hold of me. And Thailand will grab a hold of you. You ain't gonna want to leave. I did not want to leave, but the good thing was I was coming back to the Philippines. Um, See, that's the thing. RLVRV said, Calvin, are you going to SM more or BGC later? Yeah, probably more because Maryland wants to see that Dolomite Beach. Imagine she's in the Philippines, she's never seen Dolomite Beach. And that's why I tell you guys, look, when you come over, you don't have to take your Filipino all the way back to the West to show her a new life. You can show her a new life right here in the Philippines. She's never been anywhere. Every place that I've taken Maryland and my wife and my son's mother was the first time they ever been, guys. Okay? Duck, the traveler says, is the cost of living better in the Philippines or Thailand or DI? I've never been to the DR. You're going to get value for your money in both. I say the value for your money is better in Thailand because the value of everything is better. You understand? In just the 4 days I was there, like the food, okay? You know, if we're gonna compare you, the food, you can't compare the food to both. Okay, so you're gonna get more for your money in Thailand, but you still get a great value here in the Philippines. Look at this Airbnb on the 35th floor in Manila. $24, man. You're not going to beat that. I mean, you're going to get good value for your money in both places. But I just say, I don't think I can rent a hotel room steps from the beach here in, let's say, Boracay or Bantayan Island, somewhere like that, for for $19. Derek, I keep doing Derek because he's like an expert on Thailand. He's really been there a long time. Hey, George Woods, thanks for that super chat. Says, sir, it seems better that business with Raul trying to remove you from the Philippines due to tax problems. These people cause a lot of trouble with that. But yeah, you know, these guys, they gotta try a little harder. See, because I've got some friends over here, and that's one thing, the reason I like the Philippines. I want to give a shout out to Sir Jules Ledesma. You know, he keeps stuff like that at bay, you know. He's a good friend to have. And he wrote me a personal letter, man. That's about as big of a compliment as you can get over here as an expat. I mean, this guy is powerful. You know, he could snap his finger and I could disappear. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I don't I ignore people like that because I'm not doing anything wrong. If I was doing anything wrong, trust me, Jules Ledesma wouldn't be a million miles from me. And as long as I'm not doing anything wrong, I don't worry about clowns like him, to try to make. I don't understand it. I've never understood why um, expats want to cause other expats problems. We're 8,000 miles from home. But the thing is, Chocolate Man in Thailand said there's people over there doing the same thing. So, they need to get a life, man. I'm not going to give them any more of my time. Derek Eisenhower says Thailand is more global international. Yeah, it's even more global international than a lot of places in America, man. The Balance of Life says, hey, Calvin, Dolomite Beach was closed while we were there. Did you eat at the Denny's at Robinson Mall? Not yet, but I'm going to go. Dolomite was open when I was there. I was there from the 15th. No, I was there from the 17th, June 17th to June 19th. It was open. Tiny Tim says, I think it's hard to beat Philippines for cost of living. The more you live like a Filipino, the cheaper it gets. No hot water, no aircon, shop at the wet market, no shy, use a tabo. Well, see, really, you can live. Okay, I was living like I was living in America for about $800 a month. And I'm talking about my living expenses, okay? My rent, utilities, immigration, and food. And I didn't skip a beat. We had aircon. We didn't have hot water, but you don't need it here, guys. Okay? In St. Carlos City, now I'm going to get a water tower for my guest house because I know a lot of you are used to hot water. I'm going to get the hot water heater put in there. But I don't need it. If you take, the shower's usually lukewarm, man, or, it's cool. It's never cold where I live. David Craycraft says, next time you go to Thailand, you really need to check out Phuket if you like the ocean. Yeah, Eric Terry went there for 2 days, and that's what he said. He said, I wish I'd have spent most of my time. He said, I wish I'd have spent all my time in Phuket, outside of Bangkok. But in Bangkok, you're going to get everything, guys. There's nothing there you can't get. If you like shopping, the food, it's the best of everything there. Let me see what else I'm writing about. Yeah. But again, the only thing I can really compare, and I really can't compare that, I wasn't there long enough, is the women, man. And coming from the West, I've never experienced anything like the Filipino. You get the right one, you take your time. If you're a decent human being, you're going to get a woman over here, man, that you can't even imagine what she can do for your life. Be honest with you. I have to put them at the top. See, there's Eric Terry right there. Let me hit him up. Yeah, see, he spent 2 days in Phuket at like a 4.5-star place and riding jet skis all day, going island hopping and all that. See, that's why he loves Thailand more than the Philippines. He's sophisticated. I'm just a simple guy. That's why I like the Philippines. I love this pace. See, Thailand would get me in trouble because eventually I would get comfortable enough. The longer I stayed around there, I would get comfortable enough where I could drop my drawers and go up in something over there. But under normal circumstances, I can't do it. But, after a while, I could. Hey, Maddie, J. Anthony Johnson says, hey, Calvin just joined the lab. Are you back home with Maryland? Yeah, I am. We're in Manila. We're just taking a few days together, bonding again, before we go back to reality. And I'm enjoying it, man. She's enjoying it. She doesn't know how to relax. Most Filipinos know how to relax, but she don't. She's always got to be doing something. So when I get over here in Manila, she don't have no choice but to relax. She's never, believe it or not, man, this is one reason I love the Philippines. The innocence, man. Merle's never been to a movie theater before. We're going to go before we leave. Imagine that. Merle's 40 years old. She's never been to watch a movie in a movie theater, guys. Okay. Steve-O Phillips says, welcome home, Calvin. Glad to see you back. Made it back to the familiar. He said, 11 days till I'm there with my sneakers on the ground. I plan to live like a native, province life for me. Yeah, you can't go wrong, man, over here. Either way. Brad Hanson, thanks for that super chat. He said, was going to do a few months stay in Makati and BGC, but cost in Pattaya versus value is unmatched. It is, to be honest with you. Chocolate Man said he's got a 73 square meter place. I don't know if it's a house or apartment. He says he's only paying $12,000 baht. He's paying a little bit over 300. I mean, in Pattaya, right there on the beach, man, come on, you can't beat that. And see, he's younger than me. Calhoun 24 says, are there many street cons in both targeting visitors? Well, it's more going on in Manila like that. I didn't see a lot of that going on in Bangkok. But remember, Bangkok is more sophisticated. They've been around foreigners all the time. 49 million come there every year, man. That's unbelievable, guys. Let that soak in. This is a country of 69 million. 49 million foreign visitors every year. So they're used to dealing with us. We're not a spectacle like we are over here. See? I want to welcome Pumpkin Joe's Philippine Experience. He's getting ready to have an addition to the family soon. Here's his channel, guys. Support him. He's more like a family channel. But I told him, I said, you can say booty every now and then. Since you watching, man, go ahead and say booty with me. There's nothing wrong with that, guys, okay? It's, sex is as natural as breathing, if you don't believe me. So if you don't have sex, it's like not breathing. What kind of life are you going to have? Samson, S. Samson says, I'm in Hua Hin, wasn't in Pattaya, but the Philippines is a maybe. Thailand just passed legal cannabis. How about the Philippines? No, they're not going to. They still have. They've got a drug war over here, by the way. But yeah, if you watch my other video, Walking Street, I showed you two places where they had two marijuana shops, and there's some different laws. You can't just smoke a joint going down the street. That's what Chocolate Man said. In the privacy of your own home, that sort of thing. Hey, Cedric, well, thanks for that super chat. He said, just showing some support. Great show. Keep the content coming, brother, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna upload a video later on my final analysis of Thailand, which is good. I don't have anything negative to say about Thailand. And that's very rare for me. Says Travel Vlog said, I want to know the requirements back to the Philippines, less hassle. It was no hassle. All you need to do, guys, remember, if you don't have that booster, you have to get the negative COVID-19 results 48 hours before your trip. If you have the booster, no matter when you took it, there's no COVID test. You just show them, of course, your onward ticket, which says you wouldn't have to have an onward ticket, but your husband would. And the easiest way to do that, what I did, I watched that lady. Is her name Terry, the Filipina? And she said, go on Cebu Pacific and buy that cheap one-way ticket to Singapore, which is what I did. Shout out to her. She got a lot of good information. She really helped me. And that's all I needed. My valid passport, my vaccine card with the booster on it, and my onward ticket. You don't need travel insurance. It was a breeze. Okay, the Philippines have gotten so much better with their immigration, but nothing like Thailand. I mean, Thailand, you in and out of there with the Philippines, it was just, there was no land. And I was like, where's the land? Where's all these people that was on the plane with me? But it's so wide open. They got so many uh, immigration booths. There was no land. I just walked right through. Come on, I said, no wonder they smartened up and lifted restrictions. Thailand is wide open, believe it or not. Uh, yeah, it's wide open. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you still need that One Health, but it's immediate now. There's no hangups with that One Health. They listen to the people. The minute you go on there and you fill out the requirements, they give you the One Health Pass, the QR code right then. There's no waiting like it was before. Hey, thanks, TJ Johnson, for the super chat. He said, looking forward to hearing everything you got to say on Thailand in a week or so, Chief. I just want to note that I plan to take my Filipino girlfriend to Thailand before your video. Yeah, and see, TJ, he's been trying to tell me about Thailand for a long time, and I really got to give you a shout out and say you were right on the money. They've got this situation. Their infrastructure just, like I said, it's on its first world. You can go there, and for the week I was there, I had unlimited Wi-Fi, and they got super fast Wi-Fi for about $6 for the whole week. I could have did a live stream, which actually I did do my live stream from my data. That's impossible in the Philippines. I would have had all kind of trouble over there. Yeah. Well, you don't really have to have um, the hotel, but you do have to have an address there, because without that address, you're not getting in. They're going to look for that. They didn't ask me for my bookings, but when you come into the country, you fill out that form. The stewardess told you, said without the address, they won't let you in. So at least have an address. The Beach of Life says, hopefully Philippines follows Thailand and goes massless. Well, that's, Philippines is a different monster, man. That's why you can't compare them. You're talking about, Philippines is very conservative. Over in Thailand, they're Buddhist. Over here, they're Roman Catholic. They're very conservative. And that's one of the reasons I like the Philippines. There's order over here. You can lose your man, but you can't really lose your man as fast as you can or as easy as you can in Thailand over here. Sass Travel Vlog says it's still required to wear masks in Thailand. When you're outside, it's at your discretion. But when you go in, yeah. But July 1st, it's over. You don't have to use it anymore. When we are in Singapore, no more masks required outside, only indoors. Yeah, but July 1st, I think they're gone for good. Yeah, he said none in Thailand. TJ Johnson says that we were required to wear them in Bali. I want to give a shout out to TJ right now because he's coming to. Are you in the Philippines already? He's booked me and Maryland in the Aeon condominiums in Davao. I think he's going to take us to Samar Island. This guy he doesn't do anything but first class. He's rented some type of speedboat. He don't realize I got anxiety. We got to go slow in that damn speedboat, man. I'd rather ride the damn ferry, to be honest with you, man. Robert Sanford. See, here's Robert Sanford right here. He's in my Hall of Fame. He spent $46,000 US in 7 weeks in Thailand. And I could easily see how you could do it. He stayed at the Soy Six and all them places all day long. He said, "What's up, Unc? Glad you enjoyed yourself." I did, man, but not as much as I probably would if I wasn't such a square. Good thing I had Mr. Lee with me. I was able to see these places, because, I felt comfortable with him. Otherwise, I don't think I'd have walked down Soy 6. I don't even think I would have walked down uh, Walking Street. I'd have just stayed on the beach because what shocked me about that beautiful beach was uh, there was nobody there on the beach. Okay, when I did my live stream, you can in Pattaya you rent the chairs, you rent two beach lounge chairs, the big ones, and the table for 100 baht. That's for the whole day. So that's less than $3 for the whole day. So that's what I'm talking about, the value that you get for your money. It's just unbelievable over there. But nobody was on the beach the whole 2 days I was there. I couldn't believe it. You would see foreigners running up and down, jogging, and walking. It's really got an unbelievable atmosphere there. Jeffrey Tedder, see, he's the one that hooked me up with Mr. Lee. Thank you, brother. I mean, that's probably the best thing you've ever done for me. I was apprehensive about going to Thailand until you contacted me and said, man, I got somebody boots on the ground there that will take care of you. And I appreciate that, man. You made our trip so much easier. Because Eric Terry, he didn't even know about Mr. Lee till we got there. But imagine flying into Thailand for the first time and there's somebody waiting in a new Fortuner for you. Going to take you anywhere, no questions asked. And, thank you, man, for that. He says, at Tiny Tim, I have Mr. Lee's line info. He has WhatsApp also, but I have to screenshot it for you. Stay tuned for the videos with Mr. Lee. Yeah, I've got one with Mr. Lee coming up today. He's going to be in the front of the video. I'm going to introduce you to him. I've got his card I'm going to put on the video. Got all his information. Whatever he charges, it's worth it, man. Trust me, man. This guy knows Thailand frontwards and backwards. He took me to an after-hours eating place, the best food probably I've ever had in my life. And I let him choose the menu because I didn't know what to choose. He chooses, anybody that can eat seafood. It was these shells, like, they weren't oysters, but it was, the shell meat scrambled up with eggs and something else. I mean, it was so delicious. Then he had this fish soup that's popular. He said all Thai people eat it. It's fish soup, and you're thinking it's going to stink and all that. No, this fish was so tender, and it's spicy, and it's got this lemony taste to it. It's off the chain, man. Then we had the beef panang, and then what else did we have? We had like 5 dishes. We had a 5-course meal with extra rice, extra drink, 635 baht. But Mr. Lee, whatever he charges, it's worth it, man. The Beach of Life says, I think Thai food is good. It's good. And then if you don't like Thai food, they've got everything else. Sizzler, IHOP, they've got everything that you have at home. So if you like a good steak, you're going to be able to get that. T.J. Johnson said that Asian, you can experience racism anywhere, but you're a lot less likely to experience it in Southeast Asia versus the West. Absolutely. And that's one thing I like about Thailand and the Philippines. They're just so used to seeing so many foreigners and stuff. It's no big deal to them. Do people have preferences? Honestly, obviously they do. But I've never had a racist moment over here in the Philippines. And it's the reason I'm still here, guys. That goes way up here. And, people talk about the language. Man, listen, language is the 8th wonder in the world as far as I'm concerned. Self-expression is one of the true reasons for happiness. It's one of the ingredients of happiness. If you can't have that, what kind of life are you going to have? And over here in the Philippines, man, you got to put the Philippines way up here because you're way over in Southeast Asia and people can speak your language. That goes a long way as far as a place where I want to be. Now, Thailand, you can get around that because there's so many foreigners here. Okay? That you really don't have to know the language. You can just sit there and talk to foreigners all day. See, I'm not one of those guys who says, oh, I don't want to be around foreigners, right? I didn't come all the way over here to be around foreigners. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. After about 3 or 4 months, you're gonna beg to um, see a foreigner, talk to a foreigner. I've got to, yeah, I block naked in every channel. Eventually you get ahead of the bots. Yeah. I'm trying to block them now, guys. Hey, Michael Beecher, like, get rid of that guy. Philip, Brandon said, yo, what's up, Calvin? Fella, sorry I'm late. Philippines Experience asked me, here he is, Pumpkin Joe's Philippine Experience said, how spicy was the food in Thailand? Look, they got levels of spiciness, and they'll ask you because they know you're a foreigner. Because they'll come to you and they'll say, because I got the chicken curry. And the man came to me and said, now, what do you mean? Do you want it all the way spicy where you probably can't breathe? And I said, no, just give me the medium. He knew, because he's there, and they'll ask you. Same when we went to that after hours place. I mean, it can get so hot that you can't take it. Okay. And that's why they'll ask you every single time. If you're a foreigner, they're going to ask you. They're not going to ask you if you're Thai. They're just going to serve it to you. Hey, let's get rid of this naked HDXY. Do that for me, Jacob Tanjay or Michael Beecher Life. But yeah, Pumpkin Joe, man, you can't handle the food over here. CJ Amadi says, is inflation affecting Thailand? Honestly, their gasoline there, because we've stopped a few times, it's cheaper in Thailand than it is here, believe it or not. But I don't know. I wasn't there long enough. I was only there 4 days, which, by the way, guys, don't do that to yourself, okay? If you're going to go to Thailand, make it at least 2 weeks. If you can stay there a month, go there a month. Because the next time I go, I'm going to do the whole month. I'm going to take Maryland with me, and we're going to have a ball. It's so close. It's only 2 hours and 45 minutes. I mean, it's just a smooth flight. They serve you the meal because the international flight. By the time they get all that put away, you listen to some music. I was listening to Kenny G. They're coming down as the flight attendants, make your final cross check and, get ready to land. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow. Derek Casanara says, I've not heard any problem about inflation on my Facebook page. Put the name of your Facebook page up here, Derek, because it really helped me a lot. That's where I learned about Thailand actually has the best rated hospital in the world. Belize and Edwin says, so what will be your next destination, Calvin? Well, me and Marilyn, we're going to start traveling around the Philippines. There's so much to see in the Philippines that I haven't seen. And I want her to see it. It's going to be a minute before I even think about going out of the country again. But when I do, I'm probably going back to Thailand or Malaysia. But more than likely, I'm going back to Thailand. I'm going to do a whole month, man. That place just grabbed a hold of me. And if I wasn't coming back to the Philippines, I would be sad. But because I was leaving one paradise for another, I didn't skip a beat. This is the only time I've ever been excited to go somewhere and then excited to come back, just as excited to come back. Usually you get excited to go there and then you be down when you have to leave. But I was going from the Philippines to Thailand to the Philippines. That's the best round trip ticket for a man. You can't, I'd argue with anybody. You may say, oh, I'll go to Brazil, and then, well, where you going to go? Brazil, back home? I'm talking about a round trip ticket. Oh, yeah. This is perfect right here. Sonic Soundworks. He says, you absolutely need at least a month there to get used to everything. I'm glad you got to experience Thailand. it's another world. It is. And you're right on the money. You need at least a month because by the time Mr. Lee, he didn't even get to show us the whole circle. He had showed us that after ours place, that was the last night, the last time meal I ate. Hell, it was time to go back. And that was in Pattaya. It wasn't even in Bangkok. And you need at least a month there to get settled in. Curtis Eugene Thomas said, "What's up, Sunshine Cal? So you back in the Philippines?" I was going to go to Thailand in September, but I changed back to the Philippines to see my girlfriend and marry her. Well, take her to Thailand first before you marry her. But you can't go wrong, guys. Milton Lewis says, "Hey, Calvin, I'm coming back to the Philippines. I love to in December. I'm going to check you out. Bless you and your family." Thanks, Milton. Look, guys, don't come over here and not go to the Thailand. If you even come here 2 weeks, I'll do a week in the Philippines, a week in Thailand. It's so close and it's so cheap. Out of Ordinary says, I haven't been to Thailand or Philippines yet. I didn't enjoy Mexico as much. I went to Playa del Carmen. I loved it. I went to Cancun. It was okay, but Playa del Carmen, I really loved. John Page says, they drive on the correct side of the road. UK massive. Yeah, they do if you're from England or somewhere like that. And I asked Chocolate Man, I said, how long did it take you to get used to that? He said, not long on the motorcycle, but car is a little tricky. It's tricky. Because when Mr. Lee came to pick us up, his wife was in the passenger side, which is the driver's side in America. And I thought she was driving. It was only after we went a little bit further that I was like, well, hell, we're on the opposite side of the street. Mr. Vega says, I'll go where vaccines not needed. I don't think you need to get in Thailand, but you may have to do the vaccination. Oh, okay, here's John. I shouted you out, John, already. NJ Tours of Boots said, shout out, Calvin, welcome back. Hey, thanks. Yeah, this is my buddy John now. He does the same thing in the Philippines as Mr. Lee does in Thailand. Only difference is Mr. Lee got his own car. John, you got to step it up. Mr. Lee, he actually has a Fortuner. It's his. But other than that, they're the same because John knows everything about Cebu because that's basically where he's stationed. So if you go in Cebu, he'll do you the same way, Mr. Lee. And I got no complaints with John. He's not the typical Filipino man. He fits right in. And that's really amazing, really, because if you want to know how much you got in common with the Filipino woman, really, all you got to do is hang out with a typical Filipino man, and you'll see you got very little in common. It's uncomfortable, but John is different. He's like hanging out with one of the guys. See, the men over here, what makes the woman so much easier for us to get along with? Because she's a woman and we're a man, and you make that connection. Okay? The man over here, he doesn't have a pussy to negotiate with. So, if you really want to know the Filipino up and down, then just know the Filipino man. And you'll see, man, you'll be like, hey, I really don't have any business marrying her. Okay, but we make it work. We get past the cultural differences, because of the tune-up and all that, and she's just so different from what we're used to in the West. I mean, the Filipina, she knows her role, and in the meantime, it lets you know your role. There's a clear line there, and I can deal with that. I love the child say it must be fun to drive from the UK to France and have to switch to the other side of the road. Red Horse Adventure says there's a taxi driver in Manila that wants to straighten you out, Calvin, without the meter. But look, I'm gonna tell you something. I took care of all that this time. I got grabbed. Number one, I got Maryland here. See, I didn't have Maryland. Number two, I got grabbed. And number three, this is my second time around. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. They're gonna get me again. I was naive, man. I really was. Because I hadn't been to Manila in 2019. And remember, guys, I treat everybody the same. And 100 pesos in San Carlos, man, the guy would probably kiss me if I gave him 100 pesos to take me from Rojas Boulevard to the M. Lawyer where this guy took me. Okay? But this guy tried to get, he wanted to charge me 200. I never wanted to slap anybody as much as I wanted to slap him. But I knew I would get in trouble. I wouldn't be able to get back in. But this guy, man, he tried me like nobody's ever tried me. Imagine, I gave him the 100 pesos. That's what he said. It wasn't far. He threw the 100 pesos on the ground. Oh, my God. I don't even want to think about it. It makes me so mad. At Liberty, Casanari says, Calvin, take Maryland in Bulacan, Mindoro, or Mindoro. You enjoy it. I remember the couple that I interviewed, the Filipina and her husband. They're an older couple, the 75, when we were in Bantayan Island. They told me that. They told me to take her to, what is that, Puerto Galera? Because they've been all over. And I am. Frederick Jones said, man, can't wait to walk down Walking Street. It's on my bucket list, but my wife won't let me go without her. But hell, take her with you. This is what's so amazing to me. This is why I love European guys, man, more than anybody else. Because they'll take their wife to places like Thailand, and you'll see them walking hand in hand up and down Walking Street. You'll see them over by Soy 6. American, you couldn't do that. American women, they don't want to see something like that. But them European guys, man, women are more open-minded. A good citizen said, Calvin, I will come to the Philippines in the winter in Boston. How much money is enough roughly for 1 month? I always say, that's a question I really can't answer. But to be safe, I would bring $1,000 for each week I'm going to be here. But you could get away with $3,000 for 4 weeks for 1 month. But just to be safe, because you never know what may happen. CJ Amadi says, is there a different culture of treating people in Manila compared to Cebu? Absolutely. Manila, man, is a dog-eat-dog here. You got to realize, man, this is congested. There's too many people here. And whenever you have too many people, you're going to get a lot of people are inconsiderate. Cebu is on a whole other level as far as welcoming you. You're able to get your feet wet. If you come to Manila for the first time, man, you may not come back to the Philippines, man. It can get that bad. The traffic is just otherworldly, man. You don't want to deal with it here, man. Come to Manila like on the weekend, have a good time, man. Go to Mall of Asia, go to the Baywalk, Dolomite Beach, go to the what do you call that? The Venice place. Go to see if you're a U.S. citizen, go to the Veterans Memorial here. Look at the embassy. Do all of that. They got some tremendous malls here. And then go back to wherever you come from, Cebu, Davao, St. Carlos City, something like that. But if you stay here, you gotta be a veteran expat to make it in Manila. And most of the guys that live here that follow my channel, they live outside of Manila, like Cavite and different places like that. Vince Lawson said, if someone is coming to Southeast Asia, They need to be honest with themselves. If they truly want sex, talent is number one. If looking for a true relationship, Philippines would be better at a similar cost. And that's a great point. If you're into that sex scene, I'm not into it, man. I love beautiful women and all that. And I love having good sex when I'm on vacation. But I'm not into that sex scene. I can't go on Soy 6 or Walking Street and pick me out one of them fine ass women because I'm gonna tell you something, man. It was some fine ass women on Soy 6 that were, coming up chatting. They were nice, they're professional. They know what to do, but it's just not my thing, man. But if that's your thing, there's no better place to be. If that's your thing, it's just not my thing, man. I can't work from the clock, but if it is, there's no better place to be than Thailand because it's all there. It's the candy shop. It's just like 50 Cent said. Whatever you're looking for is there. If you like them tall, short, thin, thick, fat, whatever it is, it's there. And it's cheap. Really. Come on, guys. Here's this naked. He's still here, guys. He's not. You didn't get him. He's back. But yeah, if that's what you're into, something that's not into that. And that's why, what am I doing? Yeah. Yeah, it's a troll, man. I don't know. Yeah, but I can't ignore it because this is the type of stuff that'll get me in trouble with YouTube. That's why it has to go, Michael Beat Your Life. If YouTube sees that, that's the type of stuff that would get me in trouble. Frederick Jones says, got to go to Manila to U.S. Embassy to take care of some business with my wife and daughter. Do you recommend any good hotels? I would try to get an Airbnb, a condo. You're probably going to get a better deal. I stayed right across from the embassy. I mean, right across. It was $23 a night. It's a beautiful condominium. But that place is getting kind of shaky down there, really. It's bad down there. You don't want to be out at night over there. But I would look right along Ermita, Ermita, right over by somewhere close to the embassy. You can get an Airbnb, a nice condo. That's where I would go. Chocolate Man in Thailand, welcome, brother. I appreciate it. We set a record for my channel last week, brother. 650 people watching. And I'll tell you, you had a lot to do with that. If you're not following this man's channel, man, shame on you if you think about going to Thailand because he really has a great channel. He said one of the biggest misconceptions that you have to limit yourself to one country. That's right. Southeast Asia has many options for many types of people. Don't put yourself in a box. That's a great point. And this is what I'm trying to get at with this vlog, with this live stream today, guys. You don't have to say, oh, I'm just going to stay in the Philippines. Oh, I'm just going to stay in Thailand or Malaysia. They're so close together. Imagine you can get on a plane, from the Philippines. Because this is one of the reasons people love the Philippines and make it their base. It's so close to so many places. Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Malaysia. It's so many, Indonesia. See, we forget about Indonesia is over here too. See, and that's what makes it so great over here. But yeah, that's a great point, Chocolate Man. And man, I'm shocked that he don't have more subscribers than he does. I mean, you got a real good. I mean, you got 21,000. It ain't nothing to shake a stick at, but man, you should be up there, brother. I mean that. I got to give you your props because I could have talked to you all day. You answered every question I had and even some, but I didn't want to leave Mr. Lee out of the loop, man. I was raised better than that, man. But I wish I could have talked to you. I honestly wish I would have spent all my time in Pattaya and we could have went around. You could have showed me some more spots. Big Stick says Manila pretty much sucks, aside from a few tourist attractions. Too much traffic, noise, people, much better to get outside NCR. I agree with you. It's a spectacle. You've got to see it. Um, because there's so many women here. If you want to meet a woman, there's more women in Manila than anywhere else in the Philippines. 20% of the Filipino population is in Manila. So you're going to see some just stunning women here. You go to any mall here, you just walk outside. We ate at a place yesterday. I think it was called Army Navy. Man, they got good food. And see, if you're in the Philippines, Manila has the best restaurants, the best hotels, and all of that. You know, the finest women, you're going to see them here. Uh, Pumpkin Joe's Philippine Experience says, I chatted Chocolate Man last night in his live stream. He spoke highly of you, brother Cal. Yeah, we hit it off, man. It's like I knew the man my whole life. It was like he was a friend. He's legitimate, guys. I'm telling you. He should have a bigger following than he does. I don't know why he doesn't. Good citizen said, Calvin, it's always to consider for all brothers, what do you think about disease like AIDS and so on? What you say, Cal? Well, from what I read, it's rampant in Thailand, it's rampant over here. The difference is in the Philippines, it affects more gay men here than it does in Thailand. 85% of the new cases of AIDS are men in the Philippines, and they have the fastest growing AIDS epidemic in all of Asia, really, all the Pacific Rim. But it's just as bad in Thailand. That's why, when you go over there, you got to be responsible, guys. You got to wrap it up, man, strap it up, man. Don't get over there and because they'll tempt you. You see these women, they be like, oh, you don't need a rubber, man. It's bullshit, man. You better put that on. Okay? That's the bottom line. The only thing I would even consider would be a blowjob without a rubber. Anything else, man, you need a rubber over there, guys. Be responsible. Tai Sanders, he says, hey, Calvin, good to see you back home. Just subscribe to Chocolate Man. Yeah, thanks, man. If you even thinking about going to Thailand, man, he got some real boots on the ground. He's just a normal guy. And that's why I can relate to him, because I'm just a normal guy. He's a lot younger than me. And that's probably why Thailand fits him better. But he's in Pattaya, man. This guy has got, if you think I live a good life, man, you go down to Pattaya and you be like, we see where he lives. And you see that beach scene down there. It's unbelievable. Chocolate Man in Thailand said, much appreciated, Cal. He said, we really did hit it off. And I'm sure this won't be the last time we hang. Absolutely. Because I'm coming for a whole month. I'm bringing Maryland with me. He said, you look like Ronnie Lodge's brother. I got a good shave yesterday, though, man, from GQ Barbershop in SM Mall, Santa Mesa. I mean, this guy is the best haircut and shave I've had since I've been coming to the Philippines. He really took his time. I mean, I'm clean. Marilyn looked at it and said, why are you clean? She said, why can't I get you that clean? And I'm like, because we're only using Gillette. This man's using the real deal. Timothy Certain says, try 424, best Vietnam restaurant in Manila. Beef noodles cooked for 8 hours. Taste reminds me of Vietnam. I think this is where me and Robert White ate. If I'm not mistaken, the food was delicious. But this was in the Mall of Asia. Is this in the Mall of Asia? CJ Amadi said, I just subscribed to Chocolate Man in Thailand. Nice. Man, he deserves it. I don't know why he doesn't have more than 21,000 subscribers, which is nothing, to shake a stick at. But hell, he should have more. He should at least have 30. RLVRVC. See, I forgot. Remember I did that video. I said, if you think the Philippines is a poor country, you need to think again. I forgot to mention this. He said we will have a new international airport just outside of Manila in 2026, Bulacan International Airport. Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that. I forgot. I mean, this is unbelievable. I think the Swiss are helping finance this. They're getting behind this. But thank you, RB, for bringing it up, because I forgot to put that on my video, and I wanted to put that on there. Timothy Surgeon said yes in the mall. Yeah, we ate there then. That was where and it was delicious. I mean, I'm not just saying that. It really was. They had some stuffed chicken wings. I never eaten anything like that. Man, it was off the chain. Hey, Ken Colvin, thanks. He said, hello from Toronto. Really enjoy the content. Thank you. I've met so many Canadians. One of my tennis partners is from Canada, but I don't know where Doug is from. And if you come to, and Danny from Road to the Philippines will contest to this. If you come to San Carlos City and you need a place to stay, go about 10 minutes outside of San Carlos City to a little place called Calatrava. And there's a place called Small Fries Resort. It's owned by a Canadian and his wife. Doug is his name. The food is delicious. It's a great atmosphere. It's right on the ocean. And he has great prices, man. But yeah, I got a lot of guys from Canada over here. Hey, Big Daddy L. Rob, he said, just subscribe to your channel, Cal. You have great content, man. Thank you, man, and welcome to my channel. I don't take that for granted. I'm trying to wait for Marilyn to come back. She wants to cook me breakfast. She's, intent on cooking me breakfast. I told her, I said, look, relax and take these few days off, but there's a Filipino, man, for you. Hey, John Waltrip, he said, good evening, Calvin. John from Texas. He says, he says, CJ says, I'm from Canada, in Brampton. I'm sorry, I'm reading this. I thought I hit it. Oh, he says, John Waltrip says, good evening, Calvin. I'm John from Texas. I'm vacationing in the Philippines in October. What do you think about Cagayan de Oro? A friend recommended. You'll like it there. And since you're going to be in Cagayan de Oro, do yourself a favor and go to Camigan Island. And you're going to have to, it's about 4 hours from there. But thank me later. You're going to catch a bus or rent a van to the furthest point, land point. Then you're going to catch a ferry, 45 minutes to Camigan Island. Man. It's a beautiful place. And it's open back up now. And that's what I like about the Philippines. See, I love the beach. This is an island paradise. You can't compare it to Thailand. They're two different places. But if you want the best round trip ticket in the world for a man, as far as I'm concerned, it's Philippines to Thailand, back to the Philippines. Or Thailand to the Philippines, back to Thailand. You cannot beat that, man. You can't beat it. Yeah, Beat Your Life. He says, support Chocolate Man in Thailand. There's a YouTube channel. DG says, brother, you are the best. We all love your channel. Keep up the good work. Don't change for no one, man. I'm just who I am. And that's what Chocolate Man Thailand said. Rich, we were talking about Richie Mack. And man, he got some great, editing and videos and stuff. And I was like, man, hell, I wish I had me an editor. I could, up my game. And he's like, no, don't change what you got, bro. It's working. Don't change it. And I'm not, man. But yeah, I have to. And I wanted to send a shout out to Richie Mack, Zoom to Thailand, man. He's really put something unique together over there. And follow his channel if you're not. And he was on our live stream last week. I was flattered for that, man, because Thailand's got a lot of good bloggers over there. So does the Philippines. But I don't think they're as petty as we are over here with all the foolishness that goes on over here, man. We're so petty that it doesn't make sense. That's why I ignore it. If you guys didn't send me that stuff in my messenger and email, I wouldn't know it goes on because I don't pay it any attention. It's childish. It's ignorant. And I don't do it, man. I'm over here living my best life, trying to help other men live their best lives. Guys, we got options. Know what your options are, explore them. And hey, Tariq Campbell, thanks for that super chat. The next live stream I have, whether it's Tuesday, I don't think it's going to be Tuesday because that's when we're leaving. Thursday, I'm going to send you the link because he's over here now. Where are you in Manila? Are you still in Manila? I want to get you on, man, because he's got a channel. He's one of those guys, He's a natural. If he continues to do YouTube while he's in the Philippines, his channel, he's going to gain some traction. Anybody that wants to do vlogs on the Philippines, man, when you're here in the Philippines, it gives you so much more credibility. Are you in Thailand? Nobody wants to hear about what you used to do and all that. They want to know that you're there now in real time. It just carries a lot more weight as far as I'm concerned. Okay, but you know, information is information, but I just think that it just carries more weight when you actually boots on the ground. Okay, Tariq, he says I'm in Angeles City. Funky Joe's Philippines Spirit said, I saw your taxi video and I've been tried too. Once I said no, they left it alone. I don't know if I could have been as tolerant as you were with that driver. I really had 3 bad experiences, but you gotta understand, I'm a visitor here. And you know, anything you do is gonna be blown up over here. It's a lot different before you get into taxi. See, my problem was I'd already got in. And that was my problem, see. Once you get in, it's kind of hard. You tell me, I'll go ahead and stop. And then when you think about it, at the end of the day, you're like, 200 pesos, is that going to be worth me getting kicked out of my paradise? It's not. But you know what I told that little driver? Because Filipinos, they're religious over here, and they're very superstitious. I told him, I said, yeah, God's going to get you. And you should have saw the look on his face. He was scared to death. He thought I put a curse on him, man. And see, that's how you get back at them over here. They piss you off like that. Throw at them something like that. They're like, yeah, God's going to get you. I ain't going to lie. That'll spook them. Texas is always say, yo, what's up, everyone? I'm late as fuck, man. I just got back flying planes. Yeah, I know this is your plane day, but that's okay. We'll get you back on here because we're going to be in your area next week. I want to see you boots on the ground, see if you live or you Memorex. Because you talk a lot of shit, Texas Azor. I'm going to be boots on the ground in Davao next week. I'm going to call your bluff. I'm going to see what you really about, man. But I know you're the real deal, but I got to get down there. People said, man, you got to go there. Is he who he says he is? Well, we're going to see. Andrew Harris says, stay wise, my brother. I am, man. You know, look, guys, don't forget your common sense when you get on the plane. Because that's all you need over here. If you just stop, take a minute, you know, back up and look at the situation, you're going to be all right over here. Yeah, I told him, I said, yeah, God's going to get you. And man, was he scared, man. You know, because there's something you don't want to say over here to anybody. And if you say it'll let them know you're angry. It's Yahweh. Yahweh is either like a curse or it's like a curse word. And you say that over here. But see, when I learned that from my son's mother. She said, don't ever say this word in the Philippines. I said, what is that word? Yahweh. I've never said it to anybody. But I didn't think about it. I should have said it to his ass. Tariq Campbell says, I'm sick of Angeles already. What do you know about Bacala and the community out there? You would be doing yourself a favor. I got a brother, his name is Anthony Robinson in Bacala. And he's created a community there. He doesn't have a YouTube or anything. This is a great guy, man. I can hook you up with his Facebook. And it's a lot of expats that live in Bacala. Bacala is like, you know, Cebu, and it's an expat out. You're not gonna miss a beat there. And one thing about Ilongo women, and see, even though Bacala is on Negros Island, Negros Occidental, they speak Ilongo. And Ilongo women are known for being sweet. Now, even sweeter than the normal Filipino. So they never get angry at you and stuff like that. Even when they're angry, they're sweet. And Marilyn was giving me the history of that. But yeah, you would be good to go from Angolese because that's what Chocolate Man said. He said he spent all his time really in Angolese and he didn't really like it. But yeah, I would consider that, brother. And then you're going to be, they got that airport so you can go all around. They got some nice beaches around there. Pumpkin Joe's Philippine Experience is Memorex. Yeah. He said, I used that a few days ago and realized I was telling my age. Times to reference a modem medium, Calvin. Yeah. Oh, Derek said my folks are from Iloilo. Yeah, and that's another good thing about Bacolod. You're right across the bay from Iloilo, which is my pick for one of the most progressive cities in the Philippines. When you go to Iloilo, it's going to stand out, man. It's not like being in Manila. It's clean. It's wide open. It's modern, man. I call them the Twin Cities. Okay? Bacolod and Iloilo. He said, yeah, there's only one cassette on that. Okay, yeah. See, here's Steven. He says, I've been in Iloilo for 4 years now. It's a pretty good city to live in. Short boat ride to Bacolod, yeah. I've lived in both. But I lived in a little place called Miagal, Iloilo. It's about 45 minutes from the city. I would take Iloilo over Bacolod. Because Iloilo, you're right there from Boracay. You're just a short 4-hour ride. I think TJ's here in the Philippines because he's supposed to be meeting me in Davao next week. Oh, okay. Derek Greenway said, Derek, my father-in-law is from Iloilo. The guy who helped me, when my son was born, when Gabriel was born back in 2012, he was born premature. He was born 7 months, okay? 2 months premature. He spent 18 days in the hospital, 16 days in a incubator, old World War II incubator. But he had one of the best pediatricians probably on the planet. But anyway, my hospital bill was like $350,000, whatever it was. I was $50,000 short. Don't you know a Filipino guy? And he's a great guy. His family, they live in Miagal. They're middle class, though. Don't you know he gave me that 50,000 pesos? He didn't loan it to me. He gave it to me. And it endured me to Filipinos ever since. I've seen a different side. Of course, I paid him back. And anytime I get extra money, I send his wife, because he's a seaman. He goes out, he's an international seaman. He goes out for months and months at a time. I send his wife 2,500 pesos, like that, because I don't know where I was going to get that money. My family wasn't going to get it. I didn't have no friends in America, even though this is a time when I was full blown in my insurance career. I'm a great money earner. No one would loan me the money, or they say they didn't have it. Pooh Bear says, Calvin in Texas. Oh, I can't wait. It should be a great show. Welcome back, my brother. Thanks. I'm going to interview Texas. I'm going to put him on the hot seat. Y'all going to see Texas to Zoe like you never seen before. I'm going to give him the whole show is going to be his. Whatever he wants to talk about. Because the brother's really doing some stuff. American Express says, are you still having a 4th of July party in St. Carlos? No, I'm gonna wait till I get back because TJ, I'm gonna be with TJ in Texas to Zoe in Davao. But when I get back, I'm gonna have that party. He said Texas is always trying to record on 8-track. Now he's legitimate down there though. Anybody, I always take my hat off to guys like Texas to Zoe. Anybody that I meet that's come overseas and put they roots down. You gotta tip your hat to somebody like that. It takes a lot of courage to do that, man. It takes a whole lot to do that. It's not something you can just do. And for him, he's been here for years. I joke around and mess around with him, but no, I tip my hat to people like him. People who say, I'm never going back to live in America. And they think that we're bashing America. We're not. We just know we got options, guys. And it makes your life so much better when you know you got options. You don't have to put up with what you put up with all the time. Imagine, I tell y'all this all the time. The earth is approximately 197 million square miles. Most of my life I spent on 334 square miles. How crazy is that? Is there any wonder why I was so frustrated? I'm changing, which all you're doing is changing girlfriends and wives, jobs. I wanted something different, man. I wanted to get away from that. Even though Marilyn had a boyfriend, I didn't know anything about him. Coming to the Philippines was as far away as I could get from my situation. Okay? It was as different and that's why I like the Philippines. It's not Bangkok. Bangkok is too similar. I love Thailand, but it's just too similar. If I just opened my eyes and was riding around in Bangkok, I would think I was back home. That's how modern it is. I needed something really, really different. Danny Jackson said, did you bring some of them jelly gels back with you? I didn't, but I did bring back, man, look, listen to this. These right here, these mangoes right here, man. But they can't beat the mangoes in Cebu, but I bought this back. What else did I bring back? I brought back a whole lot of stuff. Of course, I love my elephants. Let me see if I can find one real quick. I might not be able to. Yeah, see, this is something I learned. Thailand are big with elephants. But if you're going to have elephants, man, you got to have them with the trunk going up. That's good luck. But yeah, I bought maybe 4 or 6 different type of elephants. I'm going to put some in the guest room. But I'm going to show you something. The dollar is really strong right now in the Philippines. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought it. I bought this yesterday, this polo set. Normally I wouldn't, but because the dollar's so strong, you got this polo blue. You got, now, of course, in America, this by itself is $100, even here in the Philippines. But the whole set was $100. So I went on and bought it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have touched it. I wasn't going to pay $125 for it. But the dollar's so strong over here now that you got to take advantage. If you want to buy something that you've been like on the fence, you need to do it now if you're over here. Because the dollar's strong, man. It's the strongest it's ever been. And that's why I told Merle, I bought her all kind of stuff yesterday. Underwear, bras, workout outfits, because, I got free money now, basically. Hey, Belize in Edwin, he says, Calvin, whenever I'm in Manila, I always tell the taxi driver that I'm a cop, and they look at me crazy, scared. Let me say this, man. Most of the taxi drivers here are good, hardworking people. But you're more likely to run into that old riffraff, though, in Manila. And they'll basically try to kidnap you, and you have to come to the conclusion, is it worth it? Okay. Like yesterday, the guy was, okay, we're right around the corner from SM Mall, Santa Mesa. We were standing there waiting for a taxi, and he said, hell, you just live there. Just give me 100 pesos, I'll take you. I gave him 150 because he was so honest. And most of most of them are like that, but this is where you're going to run into the guys. You're not going to run into that anywhere else. In Cebu, maybe 1 in 100. But here, it's like 1 in 10. they're going to try you, man. And the guy that took me home from Mall of Asia, man, I could have shot him, man, if I had a gun. Like, dude, you don't know who you're talking to for real. You don't talk to me crazy like that. But I gave him the 400, and I lived to see another day. Oh, okay, is Mr. Lee in my chat? What's up, Mr. Lee? I haven't seen him. Let me try to find him. He deserves front and center. I'm gonna put him on front and center. Say something else, Mr. Lee, so I can put you on here. Sonic Soundworks Mastering said, do you have any difficulty getting back to the Philippines or any restrictions we need to know about? Well, you still need that iPass. It was a quick process, really, but, you know, to be honest, because y'all know I'm transparent. Remember I told you that somebody had sent in a bogus allegation against me, right? Well, it pops up when I come in the country. So they just did an interview with me and they let me go. But the fact that they did that interview with me, but other than that, it was easy. You need the iHealth Pass, of course. Now remember, if you're fully vaccinated with the booster, you don't need the COVID test. You don't need the negative COVID test, nor do you need the travel insurance anymore. So yeah, you do need your round trip ticket or onward ticket. It's really simple, man. The Philippines, I have to tell you, man, it's been the first time I went through immigration in a long time. It's quick now, though, because I was in a long line, man. They had like every booth was full with 4 immigration officers, 2 on this side, 2 on this side. I think there was 3. So yeah, you get through there quick, but you need that iHealth Pass. That's the first thing they're going to check. They're going to check that 10 times by the time you get to immigration. Then they're going to have to manually check it, where you're going to sit in a room. Everybody on your plane is going to be in there. And they got like maybe 6 people. They scan it, and then they send you to immigration. But no, it's easy. I'm trying to see if, there's LeVon Young. He said, what's up, man? He came over my house. Thank you, by the way. I think you in Cebu, right? I want to see Mr. Lee. I haven't seen him. Barry says, great to hear about your insight to Thailand. Enjoy your videos there. It's everything they said, it's just where I am in my life, Barry. It's a little bit too much for me. If I was living in Thailand, I'd get in trouble because eventually, you know how they tell you when you first come into contact with crime, you back away from it. Then the more you hang around it, you get comfortable with it. And then next thing you know, you embrace it. That's what would happen to me in Thailand. Right now, I'm afraid of that soy 6. I'm afraid of walking street. But the more I stay around it and the more comfortable I get with it, eventually I'm going to take a walk in the dark side. And that'll be the end of me. Because, I love sex, man. And, no one loves sex more than me. But it's just hard for me to get comfortable being on the clock. But if that's something that you like, you can't go nowhere else. No, not even Rio de Janeiro, Brazil can touch Thailand. It's just too many places. If you go to Bangkok, we went to Nana Plaza, and that place is just nothing but sex. Up and down the street, you got the street walkers. Then you walk in there, you got every club, you got 3 stories, nothing but clubs full of women. So if that's something that you're into, man, it's like, I see why they got their reputation as a sex tourist place, because it is. But let me be honest though, that's just one part of Thailand. But if you're a sex tourist, that's all you need to go is there. You don't really need to come here. John Green said, now that you're back, are you good for another 3 years? I am. And that's why I love the Philippines and their immigration. It says a lot about the Philippines. It says you're welcome here. It says we're not trying to push you out. See, Thailand treats you like a tourist, really. There's ways around that, man. But they say, look, okay, you got 30 days here. You're on your vacation. Do your 30 days. We'll give you 60. But then you gotta go. Over here, it's not like that. You can put down your roots in the Philippines. 3 years, guys, is a long time. Leave for just one 24-hour period. Come right back and start your 3 over, like what I'm doing now. Geechee Land says, I'm sure as hell not into getting no sex at all. Well, because you dry as a bone, and this is from your own mouth, you better come to the Philippines and let them slow walk you. Because if you go to Thailand in your condition right now, you're not going to make it back. Okay? It's too much for a dry man. You will never make it back. Okay? Oh, man. You wouldn't make it back, dude. Oh, yeah, this is Mr. Lee, but where is he? I don't see him. I'm trying to get him on here because he deserves a shout out, man. I'm gonna tell you, this guy ain't no joke. You know, I got John here in Cebu, but I have to tell you, John, you only know Cebu. Mr. Lee, he knows all of Thailand. If we get you out of Cebu, you be lost, John. Oh, here it is. Here he is. Yeah, Mr. Lee. This is my buddy right here, man. His personality will shine through the fact that he don't speak a lot of English. This guy's funny, man. He knows every nook and cranny to take you to that place. And he basically takes you and he steps back. He's in the shower. He lets you do whatever you want to do for as long as you want to do it. Then, you ready? Okay, there he is. But whatever he charges, he's worth every bite. And that's a fact. And you're going to tip him. You know, because he's no joke right here, this guy. Thanks, Mr. Lee, and I'm going to put your video on later. I'm going to upload it. So because he wants to be a YouTube star, man. He said, if you put me on your channel, he said, I'll be famous over here in Thailand. Well, you're going to be famous, man. Yeah, Jeffrey Taylor, he introduced me to Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee is you already a celebrity, bruh. Trust me. By the time I get done with you, you're going to be an icon over there. Yeah, AC King said, dry as a bone. Hell, I'm petrified. Well, you don't want to go to Thailand. You better come to the Philippines first. Get the tune up, get the oil change, get lubricated. Then go to Thailand, because I'm going to tell you guys, if you've been out of the sex scene for a long time, you ain't had none, if you go to Thailand, you're going to be like Robert Sanford. You're going to end up he spent $46,000 in 7 weeks. This is a true story. This guy's got that kind of money to do that. And he did it. But I could see how you could do it. If I was into that, I could easily spend $10,000 in a month there. $10,000 a month in Thailand is not over here to take you a long time to do that. But there, you could do it in the blink of an eye. Oh, Gary Courtney says, I've not been to Thailand in over 40 years. I was told you were there in the heyday then. Yeah, now Bill Ellis, see, he's over there. He lives over there. He says, you're going to die in the saddle in Pattaya. You will. I mean, there's so many women, man. I can't even do it any justice talking about it on a live stream. I mean, it's something you've never seen before. Okay, if you saw that video I made and I showed you the right hand side, that's just the right hand side. Remember, there's a left hand side of that soy 6. And just as many women that was over here, it's over there. And they got it set up. It's like a fast food place. You go in there, you say, hey, give me that meal there. You go upstairs for the short time, 1 or 2 hours. They give you a shower. This is what I was told. They give you a shower. You know, you do your business, you come back down. It doesn't get more efficient than that. And they got there's a Beyonce in every one of them clubs. And for 1,000 baht, you can be with Beyonce for 2 hours. In Bangkok, they'll let you go for 3. But in Pattaya, it's either that short time or all night. Okay, and I've seen some women look, man, they were just unbelievable. You say to yourself, are these Thai women? But they were, man. They got body, man. Yeah, the troll is back. Yeah, we gotta get rid of him. Yeah, see, you're like me though, Pumpy, though, Philippine experience. That's what we have in common. I've always been a one-woman man, really. Okay, I'm already settled down. I'm 50 now. If I was to get in tune with that Thailand scene over there, I'd be done. I'd be done. I don't earn enough money to be in that scene. I'd have to earn at least double what I've got, unless I got over there and met a real Thai woman. But they said everybody over there, if you go in McDonald's, they, down for it because, it's so much more money than what they're earning. I think Mr. Lee told me that the average work over there is 500 baht per day. So that's about what, $15 or something. So a short time is 1,000 baht. So how many short times can you do? The thing was, it was slow when we were there. And the ladies were telling us, they said, there's nobody here. Normally, this whole street is full, they told me. But they said it's just quiet. So here's what I did. You can ask Mr. Lee, he's on here. We left Soy 6. Tell him, Mr. Lee, what I did. Because it was a Wednesday night, I hadn't helped anybody because I'm in Thailand, not in the Philippines. I took 1,000 baht out and I walked up to one of the ladies. I pointed out, I said, come here. She was so shy. I said, come over here. I gave her 1,000 baht. And she was about ready to cry. She stood there. She didn't even go back across the street. She stood there for about 5 minutes. She was stunned. I guess she thought it was 100. She opened it up. It's just my way of giving back. I help somebody every single day. Gave this lady 1,000 baht. He said, man, that was a big deal. I said, why is that such a big deal? And he wrote, he communicates through his phone. He'll talk in Thai and then show me. He said, because that's one less trick that she's got to run tonight. It's one less short time she has to do. And this lady was so happy. And everybody was shocked. Uncensored said, I don't have much money, but my plan is to save at least 10,000 and move to the Philippines. This is a good idea. Not with 10,000, not unless you've got at least, look guys, at least 1,000 passive income coming in monthly. Don't come over here with just $10,000. You're going to spend that up, and then what you're going to do? There's no jobs over here. Okay, the people want to help you, but they can't. They don't have anything. I was so lucky. That's how I knew that it was a universe when that guy gave me that 50,000 pesos to get my son and wife out of the hospital. I was as shocked as anybody because guess what? This guy was earning about 7,000 pesos per month at that time, which was about $140 a month. The fact that he had that kind of money shocked me, but now that I know him, I know his family, their family is all boys. So I think they got 2 or 3 sisters. They're all seamen. They build their own houses. They own their own rice fields. They really got it going on. They own their own motorcycles. He really comes from a good situation. And his father and mother, they've been married, I think, for 50 years, over 50 years. They're both in their 70s. But yeah, I wouldn't come over with 10,000 and that's it. Philippine Experience says, I'm glad I didn't go to Thailand before meeting my wife. in the Philippines. I don't know what kind of financial situation I'd be in right now. You wouldn't have a financial situation. You'd be broke. You'd be on your way back to America. See, and that's one thing I don't want to get back on that hamster wheel. Okay, that's a fact. And so I don't want to fool around with that Thailand on just on a short term basis. 30 days is enough for me, and I'm going back. But I'll never go back for 4 days. It's not long enough. I didn't do myself any justice, man. Crypto movements at Sunshine Shows, you should get in Nova Tech for passive income, 0.3% a week on your money. I'll pass, brother. Thanks for that. But no, I'm sorry. I'm not going to get into Bitcoin. I call it shitcoin. It went down the drain. I know some of you guys made some money early on, but everybody I talked to lost money. Danny from Road in the Philippines, he told me he lost a chunk of money dealing in that. The only one I know is earning any money is Rudy over in Guam, and he says he earns about $75 to $100 a week mining Bitcoin. And he's like a tech guru. Retired 2019 says, I may have to leave the USA. Things are getting too expensive. See, that's why we're here. That's what me and Chocolate Man was talking about. We can't afford to live in America anymore. It's not that I don't want to. I can't afford to. Believe it or not. Well, I tell you what, he says, A. Patterson says if they legalize casinos in Thailand, it could easily become the next Las Vegas of Southeast Asia. Vegas ain't got nothing on Thailand, even though they don't have the casinos. The fact that they don't have the casinos makes it even better. You're going to keep the money in your pocket longer. But see, the women are their casinos. The casinos is what attracts people to Vegas. That's the only reason they go there. They don't go there for nothing else. And a lot of the people who go to Thailand, a lot of the men, they go there for the women. But there's other things to do in Thailand versus Vegas. But Vegas, I've been to Vegas and I've been to Thailand. They ain't got nothing on Vegas, man. Situ de Salsa said that's what Bill Gates just said about Bitcoin. Yeah, I don't want that, man. I'm from the old school. My mother told us we can have as much money as we want as long as we earn it. Belize and Evans says America's surely getting way too expensive. Calvin's getting crazy. It was expensive when I left in 2018, so I can only imagine now. And I don't know, see, we're programmed over there. Everybody's complaining about the price of gas. Well, damn it, everything has gone up over there. Why are you just complaining about gas? I don't get it, guys. Rent has skyrocketed. Food has skyrocketed. Housing, everything has skyrocketed, but all you want to talk about is gas prices. People have been paying those type of gas prices overseas for years. It's just now caught up with America. See? That's all that is. Of course, Horse, Love. He said, will I be able to get around in Thailand in my wheelchair? Absolutely. A whole lot easier there than here. I can't, because like I tell you, it's the infrastructure. Yeah, they're more handicap accessible. Yeah, he said America's expensive and dangerous, very dangerous. And people are always asking me about the Philippines. Is it safe? Yeah, compared to what? Compared to America, absolutely it's safe. Coming here was like going back in town. Going back in town. It really is, man. With everything, not just the infrastructure stuff, but the culture, man, the values and everything. Imagine, man, when little old ladies get on the bus, people help them on the bus, help them with their bags and stuff like that. Next time you're on the bus in America, you watch a little old lady struggle to get on the damn bus, nobody's going to get out of their seat and do anything. Okay? There's no sagging over here with the pants and all that. People respect their elders over here. All right. Alan Asubio says, how long does it take to adjust to the Philippines to the point you can call it home and be relaxed and not be anxious? Really within a week, man. Because Filipinos, you're welcome here. You're genuinely welcome here. Okay, they still see you as a commodity here. Foreigners are still put on a pedestal over here. And, here's the number one thing that makes the Philippines and Thailand, for that matter, a lot in Southeast Asia, the unicorn, people leave you alone here. If you go to Manila or somewhere like that, do you see people begging? Yeah, but for the most part, Filipinos leave you alone. Just respect them and their culture, and they're not going to bother you. You're going to be like at home. No faster place can you come get a place, get a relationship, transportation, get established in the Philippines. Nowhere can you come fast. You can do that within 24 hours. I've done it. And go on with your business. People aren't going to bother you. They're not going to be looking at you. They stare at you over here. But the way to get around that is, if you see people staring at you over here, stare at their feet. I was given that information a long time ago. It works. Why it works, I don't know. But yeah, very quick can you come to the Philippines and get established, get comfortable really, really quick. And that's why it's always going to be up here for me. Tori Mackey says, groceries have definitely gotten expensive. I just bought 15 items at Publix, and it was $164. That's ridiculous. That's really, really ridiculous. Paul Bunyan said oil pipeline stocks will pay you 10% a year for life as long as the world uses oil. Now, I can say with John, John was a shrewd investor, but John got into it a long time ago. Him and his brothers, they invested in some oil fields a long time ago. Now, it was fluctuating. When I first met John, we only knew each other really for about 16 months. When I first met him, he was getting around 700, 800, 900 per month on those investments. By the time John died, that was bringing him in over $4,000 every month. That was just his oil. Then he had other investments. There was, he had a mutual fund account. John was well off when he died. Terry Ellis says, what was that hotel you stayed at with the ocean view? Well, it really didn't have an ocean view, but I was right up. It was called A1 Star Hotel in Pattaya. I stayed 2 days. It was $38. Okay, they charge you in baht, but they converted on my credit card. It was $38. And it was just one room, about the size, a little bit smaller than this. Nice, comfortable bed, cold air, hot and cold shower. You had good Wi-Fi. Okay, and they had a TV. You can't beat it. For $19, come on. It's crazy. Yeah, but it's profiting somebody, Geechee Lion. It's profiting his family. Okay? I used to always ask John, I said, John, you got all that money, man. When you going to spend it? He bought that car. It was the only thing he bought since he was serious. Because John was he just liked to look at his money. He would call me over and say, hey, Calvin, I lost $40,000 this week. I made $90,000. John was a millionaire when he died. But like you said, now it doesn't do him any good, but it does do his family. Somebody's going to get that money. They probably already got it. Oh, okay. Yeah, but, you're going to, let me tell you something. You can live, depending on where you live. I wouldn't try to live in Manila with that. Okay? But yeah, of course you can live here. Just don't be crazy over here. 800 right now with the dollar being what it is, what would that be? That would be 44,000 pesos every month. Okay. The average salary here is 12,500, but you got to realize you're talking about the highest of the highest salaries and nothing. So of course you can. You keep the 10,000 for an emergency. Don't ever touch that. Maybe you may have to take about 2,000 out, get you a motorcycle, and get you some furniture. But save at least 5,000 of that 10,000. Don't touch that ever. Okay. Charles Ramsey said, Calvin, the energy in your voice describing Thailand is typical of a guy first time in Pattaya. Glad you had a good time. Yeah, and because that's why I said it's everything, Charles, that they said it was. I was not disappointed. People were trying to tell me about Thailand and wanting me to compare the Philippines to Thailand. I said, well, how can I talk about Thailand? I've never been. The only problem I had was I wasn't there long enough. The next time it's going to be for the whole month. It's so close to the Philippines. If the Philippines wasn't everything I say it is for somebody like me, I would have been to Thailand before, but it's not. The Philippines is my cup of tea. Somebody else's maybe over in Thailand or Malaysia, or there's a lot of expats in Cambodia and Indonesia. Okay? But for me, the Philippines is my cup of tea. I was like, I had like tunnel vision until I went to Thailand. Now it's something in my mind. It's like I had like a aha moment when I went there. Like, okay, if push comes to shove and I had to leave here, man, look, I can go right over to Thailand. It's only 2.5 hours, and I wouldn't skip a beat, really. I wouldn't. Yeah, he said one US is 54.9. Hey, but I want to thank everybody for joining me today. I got to get off here, man. We've got a lot to do. I haven't even eaten breakfast yet, man. Thanks for your super chats, your super stickers, your thumbs up, all your support. Look for my video upload today. It's just my final analysis on my trip to Thailand. I wasn't there long enough, but I do want to give y'all my boots on the ground experience a little bit deeper than what I did when I was in Pattaya, because I'm going to talk about Bangkok, Pattaya, the infrastructure as I saw it, the way I was treated, the food, the money, and kind of get a little bit deeper into that. And I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee, you're already a celebrity, man. You're already famous. We're going to make you famous. But you yourself are going to be famous when people hook up with you over there. I wouldn't give you Mr. Lee's information if he wasn't the real deal. Same with John. It's just that you're in Thailand, you're not in the Philippines, and he knows Thailand frontwards and backwards. See? Hey, thanks, Bill. But yeah, guys, I really appreciate it. I'm going to get off here. Take care, stay safe, stay COVID free. Look for that, guys. Get the thumbs up. Let me get at least 200 thumbs up if I haven't got there already. It really helps me. And thank y'all again for last week, me and Chocolate Man. We hit 650. Yeah, I hit 400 today, man. That's nothing to shake a stick at. I never take that for granted. I mean, that's unbelievable. That's the community that we've got, though. And we're going to keep growing, man. We're going to keep on bringing guys over here, helping them to live their best lives. This last one said, David Ezel says, would you have any interest, Calvin, in exploring Vietnam or Cambodia in the future? Vietnam, without a doubt. I think it's closer. Ho Chi Minh City is closer to the Philippines than Thailand is. Certainly on the map it was. Take care, everybody. I appreciate y'all.